In this video, we're going to be upgrading our church video editing PC. Hey folks, this is AJ the CEO. If this is your first time stopping by the channel, thanks for stopping by. And on this channel, we focus on tips, training, strategies, reviews, and builds to help modernize your media ministry. So if you're new here, consider subscribing. So I am looking at upgrading our video editing system, also our video switching PC at church, just because it's still running an FX 8320. So pretty much it's kind of old in comparison to what we do, and we're at the point where it's beyond the generation, meaning that it's actually 4 generations behind now. So the longer that I take to upgrade it, the more costly it's going to be, because you have to replace everything. So what I want to do is I'm going to log into the computer right now, and then I'm going to actually show you what we're working with. All right, so I am here now on my church's video editing system. So let's go ahead and open up my computer and let's see what we got going on here. All right, so first off, we have a single SSD, around 120 gigabyte SSD. We have a 2 terabyte data drive that we used to store everything on before we had a NAS to push all the stuff off. We have 2 120 gigabyte SSDs that are running in RAID 0 as our capture drive, which we no longer really need because we don't record to the system anymore, but this will be repurposed as a cache drive for our video editing. So this is our hardware, and let me go in here and make sure everything is working the way it's supposed to. So here, if we log in, as you see, these are the 2 SSDs that are rated together, and then we have one big 2 terabyte drive, and then we have our main SSD. Another SSD is 120. All right, so outside of that, like I said, we're running an FX 8320 at 3.5 gigahertz, 16 gigs in memory, and that's mainly it. And also, let me jump on here as well too. We are running my very old gaming graphics card back in the day, which is a Radeon RX 470. Now, yes, that's old, but based off of what they're using this for, this is perfectly fine. There's absolutely no reason to jump to honestly not even a 580, just in comparison, because this is, yes, that would help, but I'm still working with our folks to train them to do video editing, so it's not something I'm really going after to try and do. So let's go ahead, and this is what we're working with, and I should have just opened CPU ID, and then we can see everything. And for our motherboard, we're running an MSI 970 gaming. Like I said, very old. This actually used to be my video editing system back in the day, and I ended up donating this when I upgraded my computer to the Ryzen platform about 5 years ago, 4 years ago. Yeah, whatever one, I can't remember. But that's what I ended up getting. So what is the plan? I'm just going to walk through what I think is needed. Now, I'm not going top of the line because, again, we don't need that in this type of situation. All right, so what I'm going to do is, first off, I don't need to worry about motherboard, because if you followed me, I recently upgraded my motherboard here. So I still have a Asus Prime X370. That's what I have right now. Yes, it's old, but, well, you know what? That was the plan, to keep this, but let's go ahead and just see, because again, I'm trying to be a good steward, not ask for too much, but I want to make sure that this system is viable and we don't have to keep replacing everything. And again, the thought is even the pastor and the administrator, they're getting a new computer, I think every 3 years or something like that. They're still running Windows 8. So they're due to get an upgrade. I'm trying to convince them, let me just build it for them. But anyway, let me just be thankful for where I'm at. So let's go ahead and start with our processor. Now, of course, I'm going to stick with a Ryzen processor. I don't need to get a 7. But let's just look at the price. I want to see something that's reasonable. Now, I could completely do away with the 470, and the 3400G would be perfect to edit on the stuff that we do. We're not doing a lot of heavy graphics or anything like that. We're mainly just using Davinci Resolve to add a few things to it. So we're looking here right now. So I can get a 2600X for around $160, 2700 for $200. But let's look at the 3 series and let's see. So if we jumped up to a 3700X, see, now we're looking at 300 and something like that. We'd rather not get into that range. Let's go ahead and, now this is what I recently upgraded our live streaming computer to, which is beyond what is needed, but again, we're thinking in the future. So honestly, if I went with this as well, this would be good. So I'm gonna go ahead and keep that there in my mind. Now we do have a 1700X is what I originally started with, which is actually in my streaming system. Now I was thinking about taking the 1700X and putting that back with the original motherboard that I had bought it with and upgrade the system with that. And I would get myself a like a 3 series, a Ryzen 5 3000 or something like that, to replace the processor that's in my streaming system, because that would be more than enough for what I normally am doing. And let's actually just look at the 5 and let's see. And let's sort it by highest price. All right, so like 3600X is $240. Don't really need that. Wow, it's like, are all of these sold out or something? That's strange. Let's just do all Ryzen processors and let's see what we get. That's 3600. Yeah, I was really looking to see what the 3400G is going for. But let's see. I don't know why they have it set. Okay, they have it set in its own different type of thing. That's strange. But anyway, so this is only a 4-core, but it's 8 threads, and that's for $149. Now again, we don't need a graphics processor, so honestly, looking at it right now, that 1600 is looking good. So I'm probably gonna go with that. Or like I said, I can do the 1700X and move that over there and then replace my system with a 3400G. I don't know. Anyway, let's just go ahead with the well, let's look at that again. So we got this here. That's 4 cores, 3.7 gigahertz, and max boost is 4.2. Here we're at 6 cores at 3.2, and this, yeah, we're going for this one. It's at a better price. All right, and it does come with a cooler. So, and then they're even suggesting the newer one, which is about $20 more. You know what? Let's just go for the 26. All right, we'll go for the 2600, and we'll go ahead and just add that. Now again, we don't need, especially since we didn't going into the 3 series. Now what else do I have on my card? Oh, this is when we were doing the A10 mini. So let's go ahead and clear this out. And I'm glad this is left here, because this is going to be the new boot drive here. This NVMe is a 512 gig, more than fast enough. This is actually bigger than the scratch drive. So I mean, actually we have multiple options. We could go with this NVMe because the motherboard does support an NVMe. And then, so we can either use the NVMe as our scratch drive, which would be faster, and then use one of those SSDs for this purpose. Not really sure yet, but I do want to stick with this, and we already have the motherboard, so that's one thing we don't have to worry about, and we got the NVMe. Now the only thing we need now is memory, because that system was DDR3, so we need DDR4. And we want to go with 16 gigabytes and go for, let's see if we can do 3200 megahertz. No, not megahertz, but you know what I mean. All right, so let's see. This Corsair Vengeance is looking good at 3200. It's the exact speed we're looking for. So let's see. Can we do anything better? I've never worked with them, so I'm not messing with that. All right, here's the 3200 for about $4 cheaper. And here's the Ballistic Sport. I've never used them, but that's not even at the speed we want, so that's fine. I've used Patriot. So I think what we saw up there, now this is in 1 stick, but I want this in dual stick memory. So I think that's our best bet. I don't know. That's 32. I've never worked with them. The gel or whoever. Plus this is still lower in price anyway. So we're gonna go ahead and get, oh, this is in 1 stick. I thought this was in 2. Alright, so I guess we're gonna be going with this Corsair Vengeance, yeah. Alright, I'm gonna get 2 8 gigabyte sticks. Alright, so let's see what the damage is. Oh, also, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get a water cooler. This isn't for this system though. This is gonna be for our presentation PC, which is running a Ryzen 3 1200. It was the lowest Ryzen 3 processor when it came out. And the way the CPU fan is, it actually blocks one of the memory headers. So what I want to do is take the 8 gigabytes of memory out of that, put that in our streaming PC, because we don't need 16 for that. And then I'm gonna put a water cooler in there so that we'll have enough space to put 16 gigs in that system, because that system does need more memory. So let's go ahead. Now they're talking about this is in a combo. So you only save $5 if I went with this combo. Let's see, because I want to get a Corsair. Well, let's just look up the AIO. This is what I have in my personal system, where I have the 2 fan model, like this, but without the extra fan. That's the version I have. I can't even remember the model number. The X6, yeah, the X62. This is what I have in my personal computer that I'm running right now. So this might be a little fancy, but in comparison of price, I think this will work. Now, I've never used the EVGA one. I kind of want to stick with something that I know. I mean, I could go to Corsair, because the Corsair is the type of case that that system is. But it's not big enough. I mean, it's a small case, so it's not big enough for anything like this. So I might have to go with the NZXT one. Yeah, so let's go ahead and add that. All right, so let's look at what the damage is going to be. So we're going to put 16 gigs in the new system. We're going to go with a Ryzen 5 2600. That'll be more than fast enough for the little bit of video editing and stuff that we do. That also runs our ATEM software, which doesn't really need anything major for that. This is mainly our video editing system. Kind of want to get it up to par so people can do more stuff on that. 512 gigabytes in memory. Again, this probably is overkill because it's not really needed, because we're not really installing new software on there. But let's just see, what would it be if we only went with 256? That's $34, and that's double than what we have right now. It's only 120 there currently. Because I'm trying to think, I mean, what else are we really going to install that system? Nothing, except for it already has the software that we need. So let's go ahead and do that. Let's just go for the 256 instead. All right, and then we can drop some of this other stuff here. Let's get rid of this one. All right, so we're looking at around like $330, and trying to think from a tax standpoint. Now again, the fan is already included. This is going in the other system. This memory is going in the same system, and then we're swapping memory from our streaming PC with our Pro Presenter PC. What I think would help is if we do another one of these, another NVMe on there. I think that would be better suited for what we're going to do. And since we got water cooling, I'm gonna overclock the processor in there, and we should get a little bit more performance out of that, and I think we should be good. So our final specs for our video system is going to be the Asus Prime that I still have over here, the FX 8320 to a Ryzen 5 2600. We're going to go from 16 gigs of DDR memory to DDR3 memory to 16 gigs of DDR4 memory. We're going to double the SSD, but then move to an NVMe drive, which will be significantly faster. The fan and all that stuff is still going to be fine. It's going to be better than the factory one that was on the FX one. And then on the other system, we're going to overclock that processor by putting this AIO on it. And then we're going to put 16 gigs in that system, move the 8 gigs to our live streaming system, and then I think we will be good. And there's really nothing that needs to be touched with this. If we do our shipping, and let's just say I do 2-day, our final cost is right under $400, which I think I won't get a lot of pushback for that. So we'll see how this install goes, but that's what I'm going to do on our video editing system. And then when we get the parts in, I will take y'all along with me, and we'll upgrade and move everything. So in that process, we're going to have to clone the drive, move it over to this new drive so that we don't lose anything. Mainly talking about the Windows license, because this system got the free Windows 10 upgrade, and it gives a nightmare sometimes when you try to migrate that stuff. We shouldn't have to reinstall anything, hopefully, as long as we do everything right. So anyway, if you like this type of content, I appreciate a like, consider subscribing, and hit that bell. That way you get notified when we come out with other videos to help modernize your media ministry. And look out for the build video of our upgrade, and I'm going to do all 3 systems when we do this. So anyway, this is AJ, and we'll see you on the next video later.